Hola, son Jim. Welcome to my fortress and welcome to Jim's Comic Corner. I have been gone a long time. I apologise for the people that have been chomping at the bit to get another one of these. I moved for a little while and it was really hard to get up here to the fortress. So what can you do? But I have moved now and hopefully I'll be here a little bit more. My original plan was every 2 weeks and it's been 3 months since I've done one. What are you going to do? Life happens. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them every 2 weeks. I'd love to, and if I can, I will. But let's be realistic. The chances are one a month, probably. Anyway, let's dive into this month's or this episode's story, because it's not just one graphic novel. It's actually a collection of 5. I was umming and ahhing about what I was going to do. And then I went on holiday and I decided to take a few comic books with me, because I had some reading time. So what I did was I grabbed a series that I've been umming and ahhing about reading for a while. And that series is Injustice: Gods Among Us. Now, I was umming and ahhing because I was like, it's based on a computer game. How good can it really be? The answer is amazing. Amazing is the answer. I took the first 2 volumes with me and ended up, while I was away, getting volumes 3, 4 and as much as 5 as I could because it's still not finished. So yeah, let's talk about Injustice. Now the game itself is set, Superman's gone nuts, mate, and taken over the world essentially, and Batman is against him, and he brings in doppelgangers from what is essentially our Earth to their Earth to help. And that's how the game's set up. So you fight through the first part of the game is you fight through a story and you end up defeating the Man of Steel, and then you can play through as different characters and it gives you different endings. But what the comic does is it goes, okay, well I see where the game starts. The game starts with your doppelgangers coming to Earth, and you get a little bit of backstory there about why Superman went mental, which I'll get into in a second. But what the comic does is it covers the 5 years before the game starts, so you get the entire backstory of what's happened on this Earth and why Superman's a total nutbar. And when I say a total nutbar, the man has lost it. And I'm a huge Superman fan and I love this version. I thought it was like, what an amazing take on this character, something we've not seen before, and something that fictional characters worry about. Which is Superman basically taking everything into his own hands and ruling the entire world with an iron fist. But he's a character from another company. But let's talk about what happens to start it all off. Basically, the Joker, he's funny, isn't he? He decides that he's bored of messing about with Batman. So he's going to take on Big Blue and mess with his head like only Joker can. And so what he does is, at the beginning of the story, I'm not going to delve too much into the story because again I think it's something that people should read, but I'm going to give you like the setup of it and then a few of the interesting parts of what happens without giving all of the game away. Basically it starts and Superman's well happy. He's with Lois and he hears a heartbeat from inside Lois's belly. So obviously Lois is pregnant. So he's chuffed. He is chuffed to bits. It has to be said. The Joker then decides that he's going to... I am cutting a lot of this down into it a little bit. He decides he's going to kidnap Lois Lane. So he does. Superman goes nuts, goes after the Joker to try and find Lois Lane. The Joker sprays a mixture of it's like a mixture of Joker venom and fear toxin, Scarecrow's fear toxin, into Superman's face. Right? So he breaks through this door and he sees Doomsday there, and he's like, "No, Doomsday!" Ratata. Right? So he starts pummeling the bits out of Doomsday, just as only Superman can, and starts fighting him into space. The other Justice League are like, "No, stop it," because it turns out it's not Doomsday after all. It's Lois. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. So he's basically beating his pregnant wife. Joker is a sick man. The other part of it is the Joker's rigged essentially a nuclear bomb in Metropolis. And the minute Lois Lane's heartbeat hits a flat line, the whole of Metropolis just goes boom. And Superman doesn't know that it's Lois soon enough to stop from killing her. So not only has he then killed his wife and unborn child, the whole of Metropolis blows up. At this point, Superman is a tad miffed. So miffed, he flies back down, finds the Joker. Batman's like, "Leave it, I've got this, leave it." No, Superman goes nuts, puts his fist right through the Joker. No messing, kills him. Done. Dead. Finito. Superman kills the Joker. Dead. That's a problem, because Superman doesn't really do that. It goes from there, and Batman's like, "You're mental, what are you doing?" Right? So the Batman goes off, because Superman's like, "You're either with me or you're against me," and Batman's like, "I am against you, you psycho." So Batman goes off. Superman then gets most of the Justice League around him, and he's just like, "I've had enough of this. I've had enough of all these supervillains doing whatever they want and us not doing enough to stop them. We are going to get every single supervillain, and we're just going to round them up, and we're just going to put them away. We're going to put them away forever, and then we're going to sort out this world, because I'll be honest, these people are..." Yeah? So he's like, okay, so it's him, Balan, it's Barry Allen, The Flash, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. They are all like the Justice League, and they start going around the world and doing all these things. Batman's not happy with it, because he's like, "Look, you're basically just trying to take over the world." And at first Superman's like, no. Yeah. No. Yeah. So that's what happens. And then the Batman finds he finds himself some friends, like Catwoman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, some others along the way, to form the Resistance. That's the main point of the story, is you've got a resistance that's trying to overthrow Superman and his government. Because you think Superman's nuts there, he goes way further than that. He keeps going until you're just like, this isn't the Superman we know. But it's not. It's set off and it's gone nuts. I don't want to give too much away of what happens, because it's a really great story. There are some twists and turns and things that you don't expect coming. One of my favourite characters becomes quite important in it. That is the old Wing de la Night, Dick Grayson. A lot of stuff happens with him that equals to a lot of interesting stuff that goes on in the rest of the books, and then again into the game. If you've played the game, you'll know a little bit about it. I don't really want to give it away, but you'll know a little bit about Nightwing. The first year is basically the setup. Then year 2, it starts involving the Green Lantern Corps, and they're just like over at Oa. They're like, this isn't really very good, is it? We should intervene here. But Hal Jordan doesn't agree with what the Green Lanterns are doing. Sinestro gets involved. essentially Green Lantern turns on the Green Lanterns, along with Carl Rayner and John Stewart, and Guy Gardner as well. Guy Gardner makes an appearance, and Hal. And then Sinestro becomes friends with Green Lantern. Green Lantern becomes a Yellow Lantern. That's not too much of a shock, really, because that's in the game. And so there's a big old battle going on there with all the Green Lantern Corps and everything else. Then, all the time, Batman and his crew are trying to take down Superman for whatever they think. And they find out that Lex Luthor in this universe is friends with Superman, but he's actually playing both sides because he's friends, but he also doesn't think that Superman's doing the right thing. So he starts helping out Batman. Then year 3, I think year 3 was probably my favourite year because year 3 becomes magic oriented big time. And the first thing you see, John Constantine rocking it. And Constantine's in pretty much the whole of year 3. In fact, he is in the whole of year 3, along with Zatanna, Dr. Fate, loads. Just every character that you can think of is pretty much in this, near enough. Deadman makes an appearance, not for long, not long enough. Have we seen Etrigan? I think even Etrigan makes an appearance at some point. I dig a bit of Etrigan every now and again. And then year 4, year 4 goes into a different. Basically, each year has a sort of different theme to it. Year 4, Superman goes a bit nuts again. I mean, shockingly, but he goes even more nuts in year 4. To the point where he's got this whole new suit thing going on, and I think it looks amazing. Screw it. You know what? He becomes a Yellow Lantern. He becomes Yellow Lantern Superman. That's a picture of him there. I think that suit's badass. The idea of Superman also wielding a lantern ring. I mean, you're just like, why not give him all of the powers? Doesn't last forever. It does change. And then year 5, we're nearly at the end. Year 5, I think we're on issue 36, and I think there's 40 issues in year 5, so we're not far off. And it's now it's dovetailing the beginning of the game, because now we're at the point where Batman's like, I need to get some help. I need to see if I can get people from another Earth to come and help us, and that dovetails nicely into Injustice game. Lex Luthor's helping them a lot. Superman has gone off the deep end, and it's a really good read, and it's one of those where, like, when the new issue comes out, I'm like, new issue, what's going to happen next? Obviously now we're close to the end, so it's like, it'd be nice to see that final little bridge to there. And then the game happens, but obviously, as most of you have seen, if you know this, there's an Injustice 2 coming out, featuring Supergirl, Atrocitus, Gorilla Grodd, yes, and loads of new characters. But they're carrying on the comic, but I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know whether they're going to do the comic. I assume what they're going to do is the game's probably set like a few years later, and then the comic will bridge the gap between the end of the first game and the beginning of the second game. I don't know that, so if anybody out there is like, no Jim, you're an idiot, it's this, this and this, please tell me, because I'd actually really like to know. But I'm going to assume that that's how it is. There's been like 2 or 3 years between, and they're going to cover, the comics will cover those 3 years in between the end of the game and beginning of the second game. That makes sense to me, so that seems like a likely thing to happen. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I just steamed through it in like basically 6 days. I read through everything up until the point where I was up to date. So that was quite a lot, but it was the best, because I was just sat in the sun reading comics for 6 days non-stop. That's the dream right there. That's the forever dream. Anyway, that's it. Let me know if you've read it and what you thought. your opinion and you know who your favourite character in it was, because I think at the moment, for me, obviously Nightwing, Superman is great. I love the story that they're doing with Superman. It's really good to see Constantine and to have a really nice meaty storyline with Constantine with the main characters as well, you know, not just off on the side. That was cool. Check out the site. There's probably, I imagine it's probably been sort of down here somewhere. It's stackonline.co.uk, where there's my unboxing videos, but there's videos from tons of other people, reviews of things and reactions to things and podcasts galore. My podcast that you know, Stack Pod. There's wrestling stuff on there. There's also a brand new podcast that I'm a part of again. So much Jim, I know, I'm sorry, what can you do? It's called the AZDC podcast, where it's the A to Z of everything DC. So we kind of just sit and chat about all DC stuff. So if you like this and you like DC, check it out because you will probably enjoy it. No idea what my next comic will be. I'm going to take it on the fly, see what grabs me. I've had a load of Eagle Moss stuff come through, so I might have a look there, see what we got. Yeah, we'll see what's coming next time. But until then, I've been Jim. You've got to get out of my fortress now because I need to lock it with that massive key. Until next time, take care, and I will see you soon.